I think the music is really reflective of sort of the heartache and the pain that goes through, you know, living in New York and trying to survive.
I don't care who sings such a winner song. No, I won't respond. My silence screams
I love La Tigra. They're so much fun to listen to. They're so much fun to even DJ, you know, to spin their songs, because you get everyone dancing. They are a new wave band. They were started by Kathleen Hanna from Bikini Kill, which was one of the most ultimate riot girl bands of the 90s.
Here, take the bomb.
We're totally a New York band, but that doesn't mean we belong to the New York music community or something. You know what I mean? Like I totally understand how people think that we're a New York band, because everything we do is New York, and we live here, and it's in our veins.
Well, when I came to New York, I specifically wanted to collaborate with Johanna, and I had just left my band like 8 or 9 years, Bikini Kill, and so I was really pretty depressed. And so I would come to New York actually and see like videos about feminist art and stuff like that, and just like felt like I was alive again. And then started working with Johanna and really kind of had the musical goal of not giving up.
She had to move to the city and sort of find herself again. She had to figure out who she was, what she was doing, what made her happy, and what music really inspired her.
I definitely wanted to move here, and even at my bat mitzvah, the rabbi was like, one day your parents are going to come see you in New York City, and I was like, yeah, right, I'll never move to New York, but I did.
The name of our album is This Island, and it's kind of a reference to this island of Manhattan, but also is about being isolated or in our own world as a band.
Having its own kind of bubble-like boundaries, and some things about being in a bubble are really great, like working really hard and, you know, still being in this place where there's so many sights and sounds and smells and everything, and being able to be open to all that, and being able to retreat into your own artistic bubble, and then being able to open up and being able to come back.
They're abrasive, they're shouted, and they're pop.
All this emotion that comes not just from seeing live music, but for people going to a feminist event and having their values reflected in, you know, a pop cultural format.
All of those bands had great politics, and their politics essentially said, you know, we reject American values, we reject the oppression of women, you know, women are capable of doing anything and everything they want to.
The way La Tigra puts politics into their music is almost similar to the way that the Beastie Boys might. They kind of take their everyday life, they talk about it in a way that is reflective of what they're doing and reflective of what the average person is doing.
We're not emotionally detached when we perform, and we try to give a lot to the audience, and I think we get a lot back from the audience.
So when you go to their shows, you're going to see kids dancing, you're going to, you know, see people getting really sweaty and singing along and, you know, kind of chanting back to them.
This is your time, this is your life, and this is your time, this is your life, and this is your time, this is your life, and this is your time, this is your life, and this is your time, this is your life, and this is your time, this is your life, and this is your time, this is your life, and this is your time, this is your life.
I'd like to scream like Kathleen Hanna one day, or scream at her, or scream with her.
Brooklyn is crucial to the development of these bands in New York City. Look, in 1988, say the last great days for New York City rock and roll, nobody lived in Williamsburg. Well, there were people who lived there, but they were mostly Hasidic Jews.
Williamsburg has been so much help to the New York music scene. Kids are living in lofts that are gigantic, and there's like 10 of them living at once, and they're all able to feed off of each other, and it's a big communal thing.
That's a big part of the reason that you find bands in New York now. They can afford to be here.
One more time. I wake and I'm anywhere. Now I'm feeling only when you look like.
When we started this band, it was the first band that was really like, this is going to be the thing. You know, we're going to take this really seriously. We're going to do this for real.
I remember the first time I saw the French Kicks, and the singer was seated in a drum kit and kind of like bouncing all around and singing at the same time. And I remember thinking, how does he do that? How is he singing so perfectly and performing at the same time?
For me, they were a band that looked much better than they sounded. They turned around on their new record and made a very different kind of record, full of great melodies, and, you know, it didn't sound like anything they'd done before.
We have a few songs where they sound like they have like city noises.
The French Kicks made a conscious effort to keep the sounds of the city in the album by allowing the car sounds to stay in there, alarm sounds.
Just living in New York and struggling to make a, you know, comfortable living, and, you know, or just get by or whatever it is, you know, that gets to you, and the pace of the city gets to you, and it affects the way you write and play.
A lot of this stuff was written in this horrible basement in Brooklyn, you know, and that's one way of being in New York City. And you could also write in, like, I wrote some things in my apartment, which is a much nicer, sort of more calm place to be. So that informs it. Both are in New York City, and, you know, both of them, I think, inform the way the stuff ends up sounding.
You could not decide on anything at all. You could not decide on anything at all.
We, you know, asked the French Kicks to pretend to be the Fisher Spooner Band, which is perfect because a lot of people really believed it when it came out.
This record has like a unity of sounds, and like the palette of sounds is very well defined, and I think the arrangements are more complete. So.
It took them a while to grow into their sound and to find their sound. They found a sound now that looks back to the 80s more. You know, a sort of more new wavy, cold sound that really works for them. They've made a great record now, and probably one of the best records to come out in New York in a little while.
With their most recent release, it's almost as if they kind of honed in their skills. They realized what they had to offer, and they really put themselves out there.
Love you lately, though you drive me.
I think it's easier to be a band here than other places. I mean, maybe for those reasons it might be difficult because people are more judgmental.
But at the same time, once you do build up a fan base, it's always great because there's enough people come and they'll tell their friends, and the shows in New York are fantastic.